going on, Camcast? It's been a little bit over a week, but I'm back and I got another fun episode for you today. An episode I've kind of been teasing for about a week, maybe week and a half, since everything's kind of went down with my Angels. I originally thought I was gonna, kind of talk about, Pujols and talk about, a couple other things that's gone on with the Angels. There were people that had issues with the Angels releasing him, and there was a lot of things behind the scenes, and I wanted all the facts to come out. And, a lot of the things to come to light before I had I formulated an opinion. And then this weekend he signed with the Dodgers, so I just have a ton of thoughts. And then he said some things that were interesting today in his press conference with the Dodgers that just really got me all riled up, and I'm ready to have a conversation about someone who stole $250 million, the greatest heist of all time, possibly the greatest heist even in cinematic history. Albert Pujols stealing $250 million from an organization in baseball. It's a harrowing tale. It's actually really horrible. It involves... Okay, I'll get into that to a second. But I want to say thank you to everyone who's listened to or watched my Shohei Ohtani episode. That episode is actually... It's already up to 1,200 views on YouTube, which it might not seem a lot to you guys, but for me as just somebody just doing this like on the side, doing it for fun. It means a lot. It means a lot of you clicked it, you listened to it. There's a lot of people involved in the comments. It was a lot of fun, so I really enjoyed that. Yeah, I just, if you guys really like that video, I'm going to try to do more baseball ones as the season goes on. Because, let's just face it, baseball is just a lot more fun to talk about in terms of, the major sports because of, the history of baseball, the stats and all that. And for whatever reason, there's just a lot more intrigue with baseball because basketballs have just been a little bit too dramatic and, everyone's sitting out, and you have teams this weekend that were tanking, trying to avoid the Lakers in the playoffs, even though the Lakers are going to be the 7th seed. So it's the NBA I'm not too excited about. But, if you do like what we're doing, I want to make sure that you guys are liking and sharing and subscribing on all platforms. If you're, share on YouTube, go onto my Instagram. That's at cam.cast. That's where we're going to have a lot of our information here. A lot of the drops that I'll have for when I'll be doing new podcasts. Doing a lot of memes on there. I do polls. I do all kinds of things when I can, as I can, because, I have this new job that has me drive a little bit further. So unfortunately, I'd like to have a video or a podcast out every couple of days, but I'm out of the house now 12 to 13 hours a day just from the new job. So I'm doing this one right after, and then I'll probably get a gym sesh right after this. So it's a labor of because I love, there's just certain things I need to talk about. I need to get my opinion out there so I can see what you guys think. And as always, check the link on my YouTube, check the link on my Instagram for the Camcast merch. Going to be dropping some new stuff probably in the next couple weeks, but there's the Camcast merch page is still available, selling t-shirts, bags, onesies for your babies, all kinds of things, iPhone cases. It's good stuff. It really is. But yeah, we're going to get into this Albert Pujols talk, you guys. So when Albert Pujols was released, it was 2 Mondays ago. I was ecstatic, okay? I loved it. I was tired of seeing this man on my team for the past 4 to 5 years, just completely stinking it up, leading the league in double plays, twice over a 3-year span, just being literally useless, It says he's 41 years old. I still don't believe that. If you guys are familiar with the podcast, you know how I feel about Albert Pujols. He's lied about his age. He's taken $250 million away from my team. He's plugged basically first base for the last 5 years, even though he hasn't been able to do anything. So guys like Jared Walsh, who's raking this year, hasn't been able to come up and show us what he's got and help our team. Jared Walsh is 28 years old, right? He's the same age I am. He was ready to go 3 years ago when he was 25. I've been checking his numbers. I've been talking about him for a few years. Jared Walsh has been ready, but there was no spot for him. And that's because Pujols has been on the roster this long and just basically eating up a spot, Let's go back to 2012, okay? I'm a college freshman, and I get the news that Albert Pujols signs a 10-year, $250 million deal with the Angels. And at that time, we had Trumbo, we had, Trout was, basically he was going to be a rookie that season. And I was excited. That was before Trout. We knew what Trout was. Okay, we had no idea. I'm not even going to pretend here, sit here and say that I knew what Trout was going to be. I had no idea. But I was excited because it was Albert Pujols. How could you not be excited? Let me look at his stats real quick. In his first 10 years in St. Louis, the man had 3 MVPs. He, batted .300 every single year. led the league in runs multiple times, led the league in home runs, like had a crazy OPS, crazy slugging. He was he was the most dominant player for 10 years in baseball. I mean, he really was. He was the most harrowing, larger than life figure in baseball. It was him and Miggy Cabrera for, a good portion of the early 2000s. And that's what I thought we were going to get. I at least thought we were going to get that for a couple of years, right? At least I knew towards the back end he was going to tail off. I didn't know how much he would actually tail off. It was actually pretty significant. But I think that goes into the fact that this man's old as fuck and he's not telling us exactly his real age. But so his first year with the Angels, he hit 285. He had 30 home runs, 105 ribbies, and that was his best season, and it's not even close. It was it was 285. That was his best average that he had with the Angels. Okay. Before this point, Albert Pujols was like a 315, 320 hitter. Okay. He's been so bad on the Angels, his average for his career dropped below 300 last season. Now he's at 298. I mean, it's still obviously fantastic. I'm not trying to diminish his stats, but we just got such a diminished version of Albert Pujols. He only made one All-Star appearance in 10 years. We won no playoff games the last 10 years with him on the roster. He was injured a lot. He was always out of shape. The last 3 years, he's been played a horrible first base. Strikes out more than he ever did in his entire career. Doesn't walk nearly as much as he used to. His eye for the ball kind of went away. Can't run at all. I mean, the man can't run. It's like he can't bend his knees. He's running out there like he's got popsicle sticks for legs, not bending at any point whatsoever. I was happy to see him go because I was tired of having to deal with, this basically this dead spot in the lineup. Occasionally he would hit the occasional home run because the man is strong. He's just stout. If he gets a hold of it, he's going to be able to hit a home run. But I mean, he had 23. I'm still looking at stats. He had 23 in 2019. 19 in 2018, 23 in 2017. So, I mean, he's barely hit, 70 home runs in the past let me see. Yeah, about 70 home runs in the past 5 years. Compare that to his last 2 years of being a Cardinal. He hit about 60 home runs. 60 home runs in 2 as opposed to 70 in 5. I mean, granted, the last 2 weren't full seasons, but you get my point, right? And his average this year before we cut him, he was batting a cool 198 below the Mendoza line. So just a waste, just a waste. And I'm not trying to bash a Hall of Famer, right? But he didn't do anything for us. He was there for 10 years, but he did nothing for us. He was an all-star once, like I said. We never won any playoff games with him. None. We went to one playoff series in 2014 and got swept by the Royals. Excuse me. But he did nothing for us. He was never a clutch hitter. The only thing that he really gave us, he hit his 500th career home run with us, had his 3,000th hit with us, and he had his 600th career home run with us. That's really his claim to fame in Anaheim is that he did nothing else for us. And I think that's why it's easy for a hardcore fan like me to just be like, all right, man, see ya, because he hasn't done anything for us in ever. I mean, granted, his first 3 years, I think he was all right, but even then, I mean. His averages his first 3 years, 285, 258, 272. He was done already. We paid him $250 million for the person that he was when he was in the Cardinals. The Cardinals were brilliant for not signing this man back. I'm convinced that they knew that he was older than what he was. Okay, we signed him when he was 32 years old. There's no way that man was only 32 years old. I'm telling you, he looks like he's 47, 48 now. He's in horrible shape, can't run, and it's been tough. It's been tough being an Angels fan, watching him just lumber around the base pass, play a horrible first base. It's bad, okay? And it came out that, he wanted more playing time, but then Joe Maddon said, it wasn't about playing time. So during his press conference with the Dodgers today, he alluded to the fact that it wasn't about playing time. He was cool with accepting a role, in a much lesser role. That's just contrary to everything that I've heard being an Angels fan and being as into the Angels organization as I possibly can be. I'm always looking up stuff. I'm always looking up everything I possibly can, reading as much as I can. So that way I understand why we've been so bad. I mean, I've been really good about that the last 4 to 5 years, and this year was no exception. In spring training, I remember specifically Albert Pujols said, I expect to be an everyday player. I have no intention of retiring. I still feel like I have a lot left in the tank. It's like, bro, you don't have anything left in the tank. You can't do shit anymore. You're okay. let me. This is straight from Albert Pujols. I'm going to read it. This is a quote from spring. It said, "My expectation is to be in the lineup every day. That's what I trained for. I mean, your guys' expectation was a little different because you are the writers and you like to make stories. But for me, since day one, when I came to spring training, I expected to play every day. Whenever my name is in the lineup, I will do whatever it takes to help this organization. But at the end of the day, this is not about me. It's about our organization." So it's kind of a twofold answer there. He says he wants to play every day, but then he said it's for the organization. So, okay, Pujols was so amazing his first 10 years. There's a level of cockiness that's always going to be there. Okay, especially from somebody that burst onto the scene as quickly as he did and as strong as he did, winning 3 MVPs and, World Series and all that. There's a certain level of machismo that he's always going to have. And I'm pretty sure that's shown here because the first half of this phrase or this quote is very much, like, I'm going to do what I'm going to do. I deserve to play. I'm the best, but, at the end of the day, it's all about what the team wants. You can't say both things at the same time. He's trying to appease everybody while at the same time trying not to come off as a pretentious douche, which he is, and I'm learning that he is more and more. So when asked by Bill Plunkett today, these are tweets from Bill Plunkett, so I'm going to go ahead and say these. These are exact quotes from Albert Pujols. It says, Albert Pujols on ending with the Angels. Let me tell you something. My goal over the last 2 years, it was never to try to be an everyday first baseman. Lies. Literally, you said that in spring training. Okay, keep going. I told you guys in spring training, whatever role they have for me, I'm going to try to go with it. They made that decision. Okay, again, it's not what was said, okay? As an organization, a business decision, and no hard feelings. They had a talk with me, and that was it. Move forward, and I'm just glad to get another opportunity. There are a lot of things out there saying he wanted more playing time, he wanted to play every day. That never came out of my mouth. You guys asked me that question over and over so many times. I always say, however the team wants to use me. But in spring, literally 2.5 months ago, the man says, I expect to be in the lineup every single day. So which one is it, Albert? Okay. Did you expect to be in the lineup every single day, or were you cool being relegated to a minor role? Being a guy that would, only bat against lefties, being a pinch hitter, being a DH occasionally whenever Shohei Ohtani, was on an off day after he pitched or something like that. Which one was it, man? You got to make up your mind. You can't all of a sudden decide two things. Like Nick Miller says in New Girl, can't have two wives. That's just not how it works. Can't have two wives. You can't pick two conflicting things, man. It just doesn't work that way. And you look like a fool because in the era of social media, when everything is documented at all times, those receipts are easily found, man. It's the internet is unforgiving, and it's somebody that's in the public eye as much as you are. You should be aware of the things that you're saying are being recorded, and they're being written down, and they're being aggregated, and they're being everyone's looking at them, everyone's reading them. So when you say things like that, I find it hilarious. Okay. As an Angels fan, as a true Angels fan, I'm glad to see you go. Honestly, you should have retired a couple of years ago, dude. You should have taken, the good grace that you had, went out on your own accord, retired, so that way we wouldn't have to release you. We honestly should have released you 3 or 4 seasons ago. I was on board with saying that. I was done with it. I remember I was talking to some of my friends. I was like, yeah, we have Pujols on the books for another 3 seasons. I don't know, what we're going to do. I'm hoping they release him. Heaven forbid he gets injured. But I mean, like at the end of the day, I don't want to put that into. I don't want to wish anybody any injuries. But I was tired of seeing the guy. I just was, and I took it really personally when a lot of sports outlets were saying, oh, the Angels are bad for this. They did this Hall of Famer a disservice. What Hall of Famer? What Hall of Famer was it? Okay, as an Angel, he was not a Hall of Famer. Not even by a long shot. And he was here for 10 years. So what? He did nothing to honor the Angels. He did nothing to make us want to be like, oh, this guy deserves a lot more than what he gave him. He's not Kobe, okay? Where in Kobe's last 2 years, Kobe was a shell of himself. But Kobe won us 5 championships with the Lakers. Kobe was an all-time great. Kobe's a top 5 player. I don't care who says he's not. Kobe's a top 5 player. Kobe was with the Lakers his entire career, his entire 20-year career. So you can't release a guy like Kobe, but you can release somebody like Albert Pujols. Okay? In fact, they did. And I'm glad that they finally did it. Perry Maniason, or whatever his name is, the new GM that came over from the Braves, seems like he's very serious about getting this thing right. And somehow They have to find some pitching, obviously, and go around Artie Moreno for that, but I think we're on the right track now. We have Jared Walsh playing first base every single day, and I love that because that guy is raking, and he's going to be an all-star this year. You heard it here first. He's going to be an all-star. But in terms of bad contracts, I mean, the Angels are just bad at contracts the last, 10, 11 years. We've given the most albatross contracts ever. Okay, like Albert Pujols' contract might be the worst. 10 years, $250 million, and it was staggered backwards. So this year we're actually paying him $30 million a year, which is ridiculous. Fuck, I'll take, a hundredth of that, and I could probably bat a good, .002. I'll get like one hit and 100 at-bats. I mean, it's it's just one of the. And then we signed Vernon Wells to a big contract, Josh Hamilton to a big contract, C.J. Wilson, Gary Matthews Jr. The list goes on. And Rendon, we signed him to a big contract. He hasn't done anything for us yet. Granted, I mean, 6-game season this year, early season this year, but he's been injured. The Angels have a history of making bad contracts, but the Albert Pujols contract is the worst one of them all. It very may well go. That I don't think that makes sense. Fucking okay. It may very well be, there it is, the worst contract in MLB history and possibly even sports history. It's just that bad. A player like, I don't think I've ever seen a player degrade quicker than Albert Pujols did from just, amazing, all-time great, stats that we've never seen before to wow, that's bad. And somehow you're still on a roster because your name is Albert Pujols. But that leads me into the next, minor topic. He's signed by the Dodgers. And because of the injury to Corey Seager, there's a good chance that Albert Pujols is going to be playing 75% of the time at first base. And I love it. They're going to start losing some games, okay? He's going to ground into double plays. He's not going to be able to play. He can't play first base well. He's not athletic. He had 4 errors this year, or he caused 4 errors this year at playing first base because he couldn't scoop any Jose Iglesias' throws. And that's not on Jose, that's on Albert. I'm excited to see how this goes with Albert Pujols playing for the Dodgers because we've been getting shit from Dodger fans forever about the Albert Pujols signing. And now you guys will be able to experience just not a huge part of our pain, not even any of it. In fact, you know what? You're not going to be able to experience any pain. You guys are giving him like $400,000 for the rest of the year. And we had to pay him $250 million. So it's not quite weighted the same. But it's just one of those things. I just wish that this guy would have went out on top 3 or 4 years ago, retired on his own, but he wanted the money. He loved the lifestyle down here. And, he's really showing his ass here with all these doing all this. He's just showing me that, he's not aware of what he is now, And that's almost the worst thing you could possibly do. Who do you think you are to demand that you finish out your contract? You're still getting paid, but you're a waste of space in the lineup. You're not helping us. You're hurting us. You're just not doing it. What is his WAR? Let me check out this guy's WAR. Okay, let me see. Where's the WAR? WAR. Can't find the WAR. Anyways, his wins above replacement. I remember seeing it. It was low. Right? I think his wins above replacement the entire time he's been on the Angels has been like 5. Maybe, I legit think it's been 5. Which is just, if you guys know what wins above replacement is, it's just ridiculous. But hopefully, in fact, this will be, because I've talked a lot of shit about Albert Pujols in the podcast. I'm just not a fan. I haven't been a fan for a while. And if I could do anything in life, I would go back to 2012 and tell my 18, 19-year-old self that the Albert Pujols signing is one of the worst things that's ever happened in sports history. Of all things that I could go back and change, I would tell myself to set my expectations very low, not get excited, and don't tell every Dodgers fan that we were going to win a World Series before they are, because it was wrong, and I was wrong. Oh, man. But I'm happy that he's gone. I'm happy to see what's next, and yeah, that's pretty much the thoughts that I got for Albert Pujols. But if you have a differing opinion than me or you agree with me, I want you to comment below. I want you to like the video, subscribe, share, all that good shit. Tap the bell notification on YouTube, anywhere else, and on my Instagram at cam.cast, KAM.KAST. and we can get into some conversation about Albert Pujols. What do you think? Do you think the Angels were right for releasing him? Do you think that he's kind of big-headed, even though he's got a giant head, and I'm one to talk, I know what a giant head is. Do you think he's big-headed for not wanting to take a lesser role with the Angels and then basically saying, oh, yeah, I was fine with it the whole time, even though he said it wasn't cool with him in spring training? I want to hear everything you guys have to throw at me. I'm here for it. I'm ready for these conversations. It's a topic I've been very passionate about for a while, and I'm glad that I waited to get all the facts so that way I can talk about it correctly with you guys. As always, check out the Camcast merch link in my link tree, available on Instagram, available on YouTube. Make sure that you're liking and subscribing. Share to everyone that you possibly can. Having a lot of good outreach on all platforms recently, and I'd love to make that continue. If you have any requests for a future video or something you want me to do a deep dive into, I'm game. I'll do it. Because these type of videos are really fun for me. I get to do a little bit of research. I get to rant a little bit, get to give a lot of my opinions, and I love doing that. You know, those of you that know me know I love getting my opinions out there as loudly as I possibly can because I know one volume, and it is loud. Okay, it's very loud. But as always, you guys, thank you for joining me at Camcast, and peace and love. Thanks.